All right. Happy Friday or whatever day it is in the future that you're watching this. My name is Caitlin. Thank you for joining me. We are going to go ahead and get started today by coming to lie on our backs. Keeping the knees up towards the sky. Come into a comfortable position. You can either keep the knees here with the feet in line with the hips, or we heel toe the feet as wide as the yoga mat, toes pointing forward, and drop the knees towards each other. Option to let the hands rest on the belly, or maybe you bring them nice and wide at your side. We start to tap into our belly breathing, nostril breathing. Allowing ourselves to really dip into the moment. Letting go of whatever you were doing before showing up, and letting go of anything that you have on the agenda for after class. Start to bring a more focused awareness on the belly, the chest, letting the belly grow nice and heavy. Maybe scooping the tailbone up towards the ceiling so we can feel all corners of the lower back touching the mat. The chest grows heavy and soft on your exhales. Lower ribs lift and tuck on your inhales. Notice anywhere in the body that still is holding on to any tension, maybe gripping, tugging tightly to the bone. See if we can take these next 5 breath cycles to give that space permission to release. One more breath cycle. Excellent. We're going to heel toe the feet back in line with the hips, separating the knees just slightly. We send the left leg out long, right knee comes up towards the chest as we wrap the fingers around the shin, tugging the right knee towards the right shoulder. It feels more stable to keep the left sole on the mat, knee up towards the sky. That's always an option for you. Otherwise, we inhale, and on our exhale, we're guiding the right leg across the midline over to the left side of the mat, warming up with some spinal twists. We're keeping the right shoulder close to the mat, releasing any gripping in the left shoulder. Sending the breath down into the belly, right at the heart of the twist. The next exhale draws you back through center. We take it to the other side. Right leg shoots out long, left leg comes up towards the chest. Pulling the left knee towards the left shoulder. Next exhale, we guide the left knee across the midline over to the right. Left arm comes out wide, half T at the side. We release any holding or gripping in the right shoulder. Left shoulder melts down to the mat. One more inhale, and on the exhale, we guide left leg across the midline. We release left sole to the mat. We draw the right foot up to meet the left. Soles kiss together, toe to toe, arch to arch, heel to heel. So we let the knees open wide. Let's bring the hands to rest on the tops of the thighs, maybe giving some nice compressions on the front of the thighs. Tailbone can be reaching either down towards the earth, creating a little back bend in the low body, or a tailbone can be scooping up towards the ceiling, making the low back really flush with the mat, activating the center. Maybe you oscillate between the two, bringing a gentle rocking motion to the pelvis, the hips. One more inhale, and on the exhale, we use both hands on the outsides of the thighs to gently guide the knees back together. We're going to send both knees, we're going to scooch the hips slightly towards the right side of the mat, sending both knees over to the left so that we can roll first onto a fetal position on our sides and then come all the way through onto our bellies. So head is at the back side of the mat. I'm going to adjust my microphone here so I don't give you a bunch of feedback. Awesome. Once we come down onto our bellies, we're going to send the right arm out long, half T at the sides, bringing the front of the shoulder really flush with the mat, palm face down. Forehead comes to kiss down to the mat. Left arm comes out to our left side, up on the fingertips, elbows squared off to a 90-degree angle. We're here for a breath cycle, just feeling the sensation in the front of that right shoulder. We're firm in the right palm. Front of the right shoulder is all the way down to the mat. Big inhale, and on the exhale, keeping the right shoulder pinned, we press into the left hand, opening the left side of the chest up towards the ceiling. Maybe you turn to look up. We drop the left shoulder blade down away from the upper body. Maybe if you want to take it one step further, we lift the left foot off the ground, press further into the left palm, drawing the left leg over the right side of the body, off the right side of the mat. Exhale draws you back through center. Gently we unravel and release, taking it to the other side. Left arm comes out long, half T at your side. Pressing the shoulder into the mat. We come up onto the fingertips of the right arm, the right hand. Right elbow is bent at a 90-degree angle. On your next exhale, we press into the right fingertips, opening the right side of the chest up towards the ceiling. Drawing the right shoulder blade down from the upper body. Maybe you lift the right foot off the mat. Maybe you draw it across the body, bringing the right toes over off the left side of the mat. Knee pulls up towards the ceiling. Exhale, we gently unravel. Releasing both arms and bringing them right underneath the front of the shoulders. Forehead kisses down to the mat. We activate the knees, pressing into the tops of both feet. We draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Elbows are pulled tight into the side body. We inhale. And on the exhale, we press into the tops of the feet, press into the hands as we start to lift the forehead, chest, belly off the mat. Maybe you only come into a baby cobra here as your gaze comes out towards the front of the mat. Maybe you start to straighten the elbows. Lifting the chest so we don't compress the low back. Let's take a few breaths here, really feeling the stretch in the front of the abdomen, the low belly, maybe even down to the front of the hips and the groin. Knees are active and engaged. We're firm in the low body. Chest lifts. One more inhale and exhale. We start to lower. Belly first, then chest, then forehead. Toes curl. We stay for the inhale. Exhale, we are powering up to plank, but you can always come to a half plank first and then lift the knees. And on the exhale, we're sending hips up high, downward facing dog. Hips are reaching up towards the ceiling, low belly drops to the top of the thighs. We stay for the inhale. And exhale, we're sending just the right foot up in between the hands, coming into a lunge. For just a breath before we sink the weight back onto the right heel, lifting the right toes, we pivot both toes over towards the long side of the left side of the mat. Coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Big toes are pointing towards the midline. Heels are pointing away from us as we start to drop the crown towards the earth. Palms can be face down on the mat, maybe keeping elbows in line with the wrists. If it feels good to walk the hands back a little bit in line with the arches, you can play around with doing that. Or maybe the hands stay right underneath the gaze, right underneath the forehead. Coming up onto the fists is always an option too. Making the arms a little longer. We continue to send the breath down into the belly. Drawing up from the arches, knees are engaged. We're here for 2 more breath cycles. Really feeling this opening in the hamstrings. Big inhale. Long exhale. We start to walk the hands over to the left side of the mat as we lift the left toes, starting to pivot the left toes towards the front of the mat, coming into a low lunge on the other side. We're here for 1 breath cycle. Exhale, palms come down to the mat as we draw the left foot back to meet the right in downward facing dog. So hands are now reaching towards what is normally your front side of the mat. So we just took ourselves in a big circle. Pedal out the legs if you need to in your downward facing dog. We're going to be here for 3 breath cycles, really allowing the low back to release. On your next exhale, we'll step the right foot and then the left foot up to the top of the mat, meeting in our forward fold. Maybe taking some gentle sways if that feels good. Otherwise, we'll stay in a moment of stillness for 2 breath cycles. Exhale rolls us up to mountain. Arms come with us up overhead. Palms descend at the heart space. Arms go down to come up on the inhale. Exhale, you fold, either keeping the palms together or flipping the palms externally as we swan dive into our forward fold. Inhale lifts us halfway. Exhale, fold. Palms come down to the mat, left foot back, then right foot back, or hop into your plank if that's in your practice. Exhale, let's lower all the way. Again, we're coming into our cobra, so we flip the toes, tops of the feet are now flush with the mat. Exhale, we start to draw the forehead, chest, belly up from the mat, pressing into the palms, straightening the elbows as much as feels comfortable today. Lifting the chest. Exhale, we lower. Toes curl on the inhale. Exhale, we power up to plank and then transition into downward facing dog. Inhale, we lift the right leg, 3-legged dog. Heel drops to hip as we open the pelvis towards the right side of the mat. Right toes reach over towards the left. Exhale, we step the right foot up in between the hands and drop the back knee. Our low lunge modification. We're pressing down firmly through the top of the back foot, the sole of the front foot, and then squeezing the inner thighs together towards the midline for stability, sending the breath into the front of the left hip. We're here for one more breath cycle. Exhale, left hand comes down to the arch. We lift right arm up towards the ceiling. Maybe shining the armpit just a little closer to the sky. Exhale, right hand replaces the left as we pivot the pelvis, opening towards the left side of the mat. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Exhale, we lower, hands come to frame the right foot. We lift the back leg, drawing the right foot back to meet the left in downward facing dog, so that we can lift the left leg on the inhale, 3-legged dog. Heel drops to hip as we open pelvis towards the left side of the mat. Left toes drop over to the right. Exhale, we step the left foot up in between the hands and drop the back knee, flipping the back foot. One more inhale here. Keep the chest open. Exhale, right hand drops by the left arch as we reach left arm up to the ceiling. If that's uncomfortable on your neck or shoulder, you can always reach the left arm behind you towards the back edge of the mat. Gaze follows the fingers. Exhale, left hand replaces the right as we open towards the right side of the mat. Left arm reaches, or excuse me, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling or towards the back edge of the mat. Exhale, hands come to frame the foot as we lift the back leg, drawing the left foot back to meet the right in downward facing dog. We're here for one more breath. Exhale steps us up. Feet to meet the hands in our forward fold. As we roll our way up to mountain, arms come with us up overhead, palms kiss together, descend at the heart space. Arms go down to come up on the inhale. Exhale, we fold, either swan diving or keeping the palms together, Andhali Mudra. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold, palms come down to the mat, left foot back, then right foot back, or hop. Exhale to lower all the way, forehead kisses the mat, we flip the toes. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, we start to press into the hands, lifting forehead, chest, belly, straightening the elbows as much as feels comfortable. We open the chest so we don't compress the low back, knees are engaged. Exhale, we start to lower pelvis, low belly, chest, forehead. Inhale to curl the toes. Exhale powers you up to plank. And then sending the hips up high, downward facing dog. Inhale, we lift the right leg, three-legged dog. Drop the heel to the hip and then open pelvis towards the right side of the mat. Right toes drop over towards the left. And keep the arms nice and long and strong, pressing away from the mat. Weight distributed equally in both hands. Exhale, we send the right foot up in between the hands, dropping the back leg. Gaze is forward, chest is open. Oh my goodness. Exhale, left hand comes down by the right arch as we lift right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right hand replaces the left as we open left arm up towards the ceiling or reaching back towards the back edge of the mat. Exhale, we come to frame the foot. Lifting the back knee, we draw the right foot back to meet the left. Finding our downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up high. Heel drops to the hip as we open pelvis towards the left side of the mat. Weights distributed evenly through both hands. Belly's engaged. Exhale, we step the left foot up in between the hands, dropping the back knee. We find our foundation in our low lunge. Breathing in a way that supports this posture. Exhale, right hand drops by the arch as we inhale, left arm up towards the ceiling. or maybe towards the back edge of the mat. Exhale, left hand replaces the right as we open towards the right. Fingers up towards the ceiling or towards the back edge of the mat. If this is too much on the knees, you can always come up on that back leg, lifting the knee off the mat. Exhale, hands come to frame the foot. We lift the back leg. Left foot draws back to meet the right. As we're here in downward dog for 2 breath cycles. In your next exhale, we come up onto the toes and then drop the knees. Big toes come together, knees as wide as the yoga mat. We sink the hips back onto the heels and start to melt the belly, chest, and forehead down to the mat, extended child's pose. Fingers can be reaching out towards the front of the mat. Maybe you lift the heels of the palms, coming up onto the fingertips, bringing the stretch up into the armpits. Maybe you take the elbows nice and wide, dropping the hands stacked on top of each other in front of the crown. Maybe you walk the elbows out past the crown, bringing the palms together, bending at the elbows and dropping the palms right at the base of the neck. One more breath cycle here. Stay for your inhale. Exhale, we walk both hands off the left side of the mat. Let's draw the right hand on top of the left, exaggerating the stretch in the side body. Exhale, we bring the hands through center, taking it over to the other side. Left hand stacks on top of the right palm. Exhale brings you back through center. We claw through the fingertips, press into the tops of the feet, drawing us up to a tabletop position. We bring the knees back in line with the hips, and then we start to lower pelvis, belly, chest, forehead, all the way down to the mat. Forehead comes down to the earth. We flip the feet so that the tops of the feet are flush with the mat. Heels, ankles are in line with the knees, in line with the hips. Hands are right in front of the shoulders. We draw the shoulder blades and shoulders down away from the neck, away from the ears. We're going up into a cobra again, really stretching out the front of the abdomen today. Inhale, exhale, we press into the fingertips, lifting the forehead, chest, keeping the chin tucked until we rise. Then we open the chest, drawing the shoulder blades together, shoulders down, away from the ears. Sending the breath down into the belly. If it feels good to maybe look past your left shoulder, and maybe past your right. Exhale, we lower slowly, belly, chest, forehead, as we rest for one breath cycle before we rise up again. Here we go. Big inhale. Exhale, we press into the fingers, forehead, chest, then belly, straightening the elbows as much as feels comfortable. We drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Knees are engaged. Glutes are firm, but we're not squeezing. Instead, we've got this tuck in the pelvis. You want to play around with lifting the heels, letting the chin rise up towards the ceiling. But if that doesn't feel good, you can always drop the feet again. We're here for one more inhale. Exhale, we start to lower slowly, lower belly, belly, chest, forehead. We curl the toes under. Big inhale. Exhale, we're powering up to plank. Exhale, hips up high, downward facing dog. Big inhale. Exhale, steps our feet up to meet the hands. We come into a forward fold just so that we can use our fingertips to guide the feet a little bit wider than the mat. Toes are spilling off the mat, heels stay on the mat, pulling in towards the midline. So we've got this angle in the feet. Toes are pointing away from the body. We start to sink the hips down in between the heels. If that means you're here, that's fine. That means you need to come up onto the toes. That's fine too. That means you need to put a rolled blanket underneath the heels to help elevate you before dropping the hips down in between the heels. That's okay. You are dropping down into a squat. We bring the elbows to the knees, the insides of the knees, palms together at the heart. We lift the chest towards the thumbs. Letting the tail reach all the way down to the ground. Continuing to send the breath down into the belly, noticing how that feels. Need to come out of this early, that's okay. Otherwise, we're here for 3 more breath cycles. Sitting up nice and tall. And after your next exhale, we'll use our hands to guide us down onto the bum. When we get there, we send both feet out long. Sit up nice and tall as we press weight down through the heels and the tops of the thighs. Toes are pointed up towards the ceiling. Hands come to the tops of the thighs, or maybe they rest next to the hips on the ground. Maybe they come behind you, right behind the glutes, fingers pointing away from you towards the back edge of the mat. Whatever feels most comfortable. On our next inhale, we'll reach both arms up to the ceiling. Biceps are right by the ears. We lift and grow tall in the spine. Before bending at the hips on the exhale, starting to bring the belly towards the tops of the thighs. If that's starting to feel uncomfortable, bend the knees as we start to drape into a seated forward fold. Letting the chin drop towards the chest. Feeling this big connection from the back of the neck all the way down to the glutes, down into the hamstrings. Continuing to send the breath down into the belly, noticing the way the skin of the low back expands on the inhale. How you maybe gain a little bit more room in the body on the exhale. In your next exhale, we'll slowly draw the belly button towards the spine, start to roll our way back up to our staff pose. We bring both knees up towards the sky, so soles of the feet on the mat. Left heel is going to drop underneath the right leg, coming to rest right in front of the right glute. Right leg is going to lift over to the outside of the left thigh, toes pointing towards the front. If that's uncomfortable, you can always keep the left leg straight. As we wrap left elbow crease around right knee, right arm comes behind us in space. We draw the belly button towards the top of the right thigh, right knee towards the left shoulder. Maybe we look behind us. So we will rotate the right elbow crease away from the body, sternally rotating the shoulder. One more breath here. Exhale, we unravel, coming out the way that we came. So both soles come to the top or come to the mat, knees pointed up to the sky as we draw the left heel right in front of the right heel right in front of the left glute. Left leg lifts up and over to the outside of the right thigh. Adjusting to find whatever placement feels good for you today. We wrap the right elbow crease around the left knee, drawing the belly button towards the top of the left thigh, left knee towards the right shoulder, left arm drops behind us. We pull that left knee towards the right shoulder, keeping an activity in the twist instead of just hanging out once we get there. One more breath. And on the exhale, we'll unravel. Let's go ahead and come into a cross-legged position. Maybe that's heel to pelvis, heel to ankle. Maybe it is crisscross applesauce like we did when we were younger. Either way, we'll sit up nice and tall. Maybe hands are on the knees, maybe hands cupped together right at the base, right in front of the pelvis. Either way, we'll close our eyes, sit up nice and tall. We'll take one last collective breath together. So deep inhale in through the nose and a long, slow exhale. If you can take a rest in Shavasana, you have time for that today. I would encourage that. Otherwise, if you feel that you need to take some more organic movements before getting off your mat, that's a great option too. Thank you for practicing with me today. Thank yourself for showing up. The most difficult thing you did today, maybe.